Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a first impressions on the L'Oreal Infallible 24-hour matte foundation. I've never done a first impressions video or anything like this, but I've been watching quite a few and I just love the concept of it, and it's great because you can sort of see how the product looks straight away and you can give your review on it straight away. So this is quite a new foundation for me. I've been using the Maybelline Superstay foundation for about a year now and I haven't tried anything else, so I thought let's try a different foundation. It's coming up to sort of the awkward time because obviously I'm starting to get a bit browner, a bit more tanned just because of the sun, and I need to do this before I get tanned because then, you know, my colour choice will be different to when in the summer compared to the winter. This is in 10 porcelain and this is the lightest colour they have. They do have 6 shades in store, especially in the UK. I don't know anywhere else they do other shades, but I know in the UK they just do 10, and they say this is a mattifying infallible foundation. And on the back they mention, they do have like a little explanation thing. They say texture is a medium and coverage is high, so it's meant to be sort of thick slash in the middle between thick and thin, and the coverage is meant to be really high, so it should cover all my spots I have. As you can see, I've got quite a spotty face at the moment. That's because my skin is oily to combo and I do have, you know, spot prone skin, so that's my main issue. So I like something to cover all my blemishes and spots and everything else. You can see I've got sort of some dark circles there. I haven't used this yet. This is the first time I'm going to be trying it, so let's get on with it. So what I'm going to do is, I haven't actually used it, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one half of my face. I'm going to go into speed up because I'm sure you don't want to see me applying foundation for about 5 minutes, so let's get on with it. I'm going to put some back on my hand. I have already done my skincare and done my primer, so everything's ready to go. So that's what it looks like. It's quite sort of a, it's not a thick consistency, it's quite pale. Let's see if actually it does do the job. So I'm using a Real Techniques foundation brush. Mine is actually clean, but it looks dirty for some reason. If anyone knows how to like properly clean your brush, I've used this for about 2 years non-stop and I've cleaned it, but it's just a bit manky, so I might have to go and get another one. But anyway, let's get started. So yes, I've applied a foundation to my right hand side of the face, so you can see sort of the spotty side, and then that side. I probably will do another layer or just leave it like this because it isn't too bad. Also I'm going to apply concealer to the problem areas, but for coverage it's nice. It doesn't feel wet, it feels quite dry. It's not transferable. Put a touch on my face, it's not really coming off. As you can see, it's quite a matte look, and the shade really does sort of match my shade, my colour at the moment. Yeah, it's really nice. It goes a long way. It's very full coverage, I say. yeah, it makes my skin really nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the rest of my face and come back to you. So I am back. I have done my full face of the foundation, which I've lost. There it is. So I've done my full face of this foundation. I haven't put any powder or any other makeup on, but yes, it does cover quite well. I don't know if you can see, please excuse my eyebrows and everything else. As you can see, that spot has actually been covered up quite well. Obviously I still need to have a concealer, because obviously it's still visible and it's still showing, but it has covered considerably well. Any scars have actually been covered up quite nicely. It has made my skin really nice. I really love it actually. As I said, it's not sticky, it's quite a dry one. It's definitely settled down already. It does feel quite drying, so I don't know if dry people can actually use this. I know Infallible do, or L'Oreal Infallible do have sort of a dry skin, sort of dewy one, but this is for probably for oily combo skin, and I love this actually. It's really nice. It has evened out my skin tone. It's made everything sort of one colour. Any pigmentation or any scarring, blemishes, etc. has actually all gone, and it has actually covered quite nicely. I did do sort of like 2 squeezes of the tube, and I used the foundation brush, and it's really good actually. I actually quite like it. As I said, probably need a concealer over the top of it, but it is actually quite matte. It is really quite matte actually without a powder. I probably would use powder, because I like to use powder to make things stay on longer, but it hasn't given me any extra shine or anything like that, so I'm really quite happy with how it looks right now. And it is actually 11 minutes past 10, so I'll probably get back to you probably about 1 or 2 o'clock ish, and then I'll keep you updated throughout the day. It's going to be a day test. I will have obviously the rest of my makeup on when you next see me, but yes, that is it for now. So it has been 7 hours now since I last saw you. I know I said I would do sort of an update about 2 o'clock, but I completely forgot about it, and I was actually going to my house today, so I've been doing a lot of work around there, which means that I was sort of chipping lino away on the wall. Don't ask me why it was on the wall, but I did a lot of sort of chipping away, which meant I've got quite sweaty, and that, you know, my face was probably getting quite hot, so the foundation was sort of put to the test. So since it's been now 7 hours, I haven't touched up, I haven't done anything to my face. I did put powder and concealer and blusher on when I last left you, so I do have a bit more makeup on when you last saw me, but I haven't touched up since 10 o'clock, and to be honest, it's really good. The spots on my face are actually visible. I think that's because my concealer probably didn't last that long, and probably because I've been sort of like touching my face, so it's easier to sort of like take off your face, especially spots, because obviously you need more coverage, especially with concealers. So yes, apart from that, I'm a tiny bit shiny on my T-zone here. I always get sort of sweaty sort of in this area, sort of near the nose, and that isn't too bad. I would say that my nose is sort of quite dry for some reason, and it has actually sort of picked up on sort of that area where I've got sort of dry bits around my nose, but everything else is really good. I haven't touched up with powder, and to be honest, it doesn't look that bad. What I would say is when I put my concealer on, after putting this on, I found that my concealer sort of found it very hard to blend for some reason. I don't know whether that's because I applied it wrong or some other reason, but for some reason my concealer did not blend very well on spots, and it seems like the Collection concealer was a tiny bit darker than a foundation, so I'm going to have to sort of lighten up my concealer or sort of darken my shade up. But yeah, nothing too drastic or anything like that. I'm quite happy with how it looks at the moment. So yeah, I thought I might as well give you a bit of an update since it's now 7 hours and that's sort of usually the working day. So I'll probably give you another update probably about 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, which will be the last update, where I sort of will give you my verdict on this foundation. But at the moment it's been a brilliant foundation. It has actually lasted pretty well since I've been doing some manual sort of labour work. It's been fine, so I'll see you again at 8 o'clock. Okay, so this is the last sort of clip that I'm going to show you. It is now 9 o'clock, which means I've had this foundation on for a good 11 hours. So I know it's 24 hours, but to be honest, unless you're going out partying or anything like that, then most people wouldn't wear foundation for 24 hours. So 11 hours is sort of 11-12 hours is sort of the normal for me, because I go to work, I put my makeup on about 7 o'clock in the morning and I sort of take it off about 10 o'clock. So it's a good, you know, I think I've trialled this quite a bit. As you can see, I've got my contacts not in, so I can't really see properly. But yeah, as you can see, my blemishes coming out now. I think the concealer and the powder and the foundation have all come off now. You can see it quite clearly. It's starting to shine a little bit, but there is still you know, very good coverage going on. It hasn't really been worn away, but as I said, the makeup around my blemishes have actually gone now, and around my nose I think it's disappeared quite a bit. As I said earlier, any dry patches it will actually show up, and I have got quite, you know, my nose is quite dry and it actually shows up quite clearly. But I think my nose, the foundation has gone from my nose. I'm starting to get a little shiny around this area here, then my forehead, but it's nothing too dramatic. It's quite good. Overall, my final verdict is that it's very good. I don't know why my concealer didn't like to blend properly with this foundation, but I will give it even more of a trial. You know, I will give a review on this maybe a month or two time, because I want to really try it every day and see why my concealer isn't working with this foundation. Maybe it's that type of concealer, I don't know. I need to go and sort of double check. And I applied the foundation with a brush. Maybe if I use a stippling brush or a blender, then might have a different finish. But I want to really try all these different ways of applying the foundation before I really give my full review on this. But yeah, it gives good coverage. It definitely does last all day, and it's very matte. Obviously by 11 hours the natural oils will start to come out, but I've had no problem with it transferring or sort of going away or slipping away from my face. It's been quite good, and obviously I will give it more of a trial run. But yeah, that's sort of my review on, or my first impressions on this foundation. It's actually $7.99 in Boots, and at the moment Boots have got an offer on, so yes, this for me, brilliant foundation. I think this will be my brand new foundation now until I find the new one. So yes, I hope you like this video. Please come right and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.